Syria is a land whose very soil has absorbed the footsteps of countless civilizations, where empires rose and fell, leaving behind stones that still whisper their stories, and where nature, often overlooked, has sculpted landscapes of mountains, rivers, deserts, and fertile plains that cradle both history and life. To speak of Syria is to journey through the dawn of human civilization, to witness the resilience of culture across millennia, and to encounter natural beauty that frames this history like a timeless canvas. Long before written history, Syria was already alive with human settlements. Along the banks of the Euphrates, in places such as Tel Halaf and Mari, archaeologists have uncovered ruins that show humanity's earliest attempts at organized life, trade, and governance. Mari's ancient palace, with its more than 20,000 cuneiform tablets, reveals a world of diplomacy, economy, and spirituality nearly 4,000 years old. Ebla, another great city, preserved archives that illuminated early Semitic languages and cultures. These cities were not just places to live, they were the laboratories where civilization itself was being tested and refined. The land that is now Syria was part of some of the greatest empires the world has known. The Assyrians, Babylonians, and Persians all marched across it. Alexander the Great brought Hellenistic culture, leaving behind cities like Apamea, with colonnaded streets that still stand in haunting beauty. The Seleucid and Roman eras transformed Syria into one of the richest provinces of the ancient world. Nowhere is this more evident than in Palmyra, the queen of the desert, where monumental arches, temples, and colonnades rise out of the sand in surreal majesty. Palmyra was not only a city of trade that connected the Mediterranean to the Silk Road but also a cultural melting pot, where Greek, Roman, Persian, and Arab influences merged into a unique style of art and architecture. Damascus, often called the oldest continuously inhabited city on earth, is itself a living chronicle of civilization. Mentioned in ancient Egyptian records and flourishing long before Rome's rise, it has been a jewel in every empire that claimed it. The Umayyad Mosque, one of the grandest in the Islamic world, stands upon layers of history: a temple to Hadad, a Roman temple to Jupiter, a Christian basilica to John the Baptist, and finally, one of the most important mosques in Islam. Its mosaics shimmer like echoes of paradise, and its courtyards still resonate with the prayers of generations. Aleppo, too, is a city with millennia of memory. Its ancient citadel rises above the city like a guardian of time, and its bazaars once thrived as key nodes of the Silk Road, where merchants traded spices, textiles, and stories. Syria's civilization has always been one of intersections. It was here that early Christianity flourished, with sites such as Melilla preserving the Aramaic language spoken by Jesus himself. Monasteries carved into cliffs and churches adorned with ancient frescoes remind us of a land where faiths mingled and endured. Later, Islam brought new grandeur. Damascus was the capital of the Umayyad Caliphate, from where rulers governed lands stretching from Spain to Central Asia. The art of Arab calligraphy, the science of medicine, and the beauty of Islamic architecture all radiated from Syrian soil during these golden centuries. Crusaders and Mamluks later left castles and fortresses, while the Ottomans layered the cities with mosques, khans, and hammams that still bear their marks. Yet Syrian civilization is not only remembered in stone and scripture, it breathes in the people, their traditions, music, poetry, and cuisine. The sound of the oud, the recitation of poetry in coffee houses, and the vibrant festivals that mark the changing seasons all carry the cultural DNA of a nation that has seen and survived the ages. Syrian food, from kibbeh to hummus, from pistachio-filled pastries to dishes fragrant with olive oil and spices, speaks to a culinary heritage shaped by fertile valleys and centuries of trade. Carpets woven in villages, glasswork from Damascus, and soap from Aleppo remain symbols of craftsmanship refined over centuries. If civilization makes Syria eternal, nature makes it unforgettable. The country's geography is strikingly diverse, despite its modest size. To the west lies the Mediterranean coastline, where cities like Latakia look out over blue waters, and citrus groves perfume the air. Moving inland, the coastal mountains rise with pine-covered slopes, catching the moisture of the sea and feeding valleys that are among the most fertile in the region. The Orontes River flows northward, carving a lifeline through fields and orchards, nurturing settlements that have depended on it for thousands of years. Further east, the land transforms into the vast Syrian desert, a landscape of sand, rock, and silence. Yet even here, beauty abounds. Palmyra rises like a mirage, oases sustain date palms and villages, and Bedouin tribes continue their age-old way of life, herding camels and sheep across the timeless dunes. In spring, desert flowers briefly bloom, painting the sands with delicate colors before vanishing back into the arid earth. The desert is not empty, it is a realm of resilience and quiet majesty. To the north and northeast stretch the fertile plains of the Euphrates and Khabur rivers, the ancient breadbasket of Mesopotamia. These lands, enriched by silt and water, gave rise to agriculture itself, earning the region its title as part of the Fertile Crescent. Even today, the fields yield wheat, cotton, and barley, sustaining livelihoods as they have for countless generations. The Euphrates, one of the great rivers of the world, meanders through Syria, binding together the past and present, its waters once flowing through cities that were the cradles of writing and law. In the south, the volcanic plateau of Horan and Jabal al-Druz offers dramatic landscapes of black basalt, fertile soils, and villages surrounded by vineyards and orchards. The ruins of Bosra, with its massive Roman theater still standing in remarkable condition, add to the cultural wealth of this region. Further west, the Golan Heights offer sweeping views, spring-fed streams, and archaeological remnants that testify to centuries of human presence. Syria's natural beauty also finds expression in its forests, reserves, and mountains. Cedar, oak, and pine cling to higher elevations, providing habitat for diverse wildlife and offering serene escapes from the bustle of the cities. In the Anti-Lebanon range, Mount Hermon rises, snow-capped in winter, and feeding rivers that quench the valleys below. The contrast between snow-covered peaks and the warm Mediterranean coast is part of Syria's unique charm. In a single day, one could once experience both the mountain chill and the sea breeze. Throughout history, Syrians have harmonized with their landscapes, building villages of stone that match the earth, using canets and irrigation to draw life from underground, and planting groves that have lasted centuries. Olive trees, some of them 1,000 years old, still stand as silent witnesses to the patience of both nature and humanity. Gardens in Damascus, celebrated by poets for centuries, echo the Persian ideal of paradise on earth, where flowing water, shade, and blossoms create sanctuaries for reflection and joy. What makes Syria truly remarkable is how civilization and nature intertwine. The ruins of Ugarit near the coast yielded the world's first alphabet, a tool that transformed human history, and they sit amidst hills where farmers still tend their crops. Croix des Chevaliers, the mighty Crusader castle, crowns a green hilltop that overlooks fertile valleys, a symbol of medieval struggle surrounded by timeless peace. Palmyra's ruins, though scarred by time and conflict, still glow golden in the desert light, framed by mountains and skies that turn crimson at dusk. Everywhere, the grandeur of human endeavor is set against the grandeur of the land itself. Even in times of hardship, the essence of Syria remains unbroken. Its civilization has endured invasions, earthquakes, and wars, yet it has always risen again, adding new layers to its identity. Its landscapes, too, though scarred by drought or neglect, continue to yield beauty in wildflowers, rivers, and mountain breezes. To speak of Syria is to acknowledge both suffering and survival, both ruins and resilience, for they are inseparable from its story. Syria is not just a chapter in human history, it is a library, a living archive of humanity's journey from the earliest towns to modern nations. It is not just a patch of land on the map, it is a canvas painted with deserts, mountains, seas, and rivers that together tell of nature's artistry. Its civilization has given the world alphabets, philosophies, religions, and art. Its nature has given the people sustenance, beauty, and inspiration. Together, they form a heritage that belongs not only to Syrians but to the entire human family. To walk through Syria is to walk through time itself. One hears the voices of Assyrian kings and Roman generals, of Umayyad caliphs and Crusader knights, of poets and prophets, merchants, and shepherds. One sees the glow of Palmyra under the desert sun, the quiet of Damascus gardens at twilight, the snow on Mount Hermon, and the waves of the Mediterranean lapping against the shore. One tastes olives and pomegranates, smells jasmine in Damascus evenings, and hears the songs of oud and ney in ancient courtyards. Syria is a land where civilization and nature do not merely coexist, they enhance one another, creating an experience that is both profound and unforgettable. It is a reminder that humanity's greatest achievements are not separate from the earth but are rooted in it, nourished by rivers and mountains, deserts and seas. In Syria, history and landscape are one story, a story of endurance, creativity, and beauty that continues despite all challenges. Syria is, and will remain, a place where the heart of civilization beats, and where the wonders of nature frame that rhythm with grace. To know Syria is to know something eternal about humanity itself, to see that even amid hardship, the human spirit and the beauty of the earth endure, shining with the light of both past glory and future hope.